Everybody, it's Hussein Kabani, your favorite broker, and today I'm out here with Amanda Lazaridis, and she's with Louisville Homes. We've actually done a bunch of business. You guys built me a bunch of houses, and we're here actually to check out one of their current projects. And at the same time, we're going to be discussing about what you guys can potentially do with renovations with your house, or if you happen to be purchasing a new home with a builder, here are some of the things that we would look at in terms of decor and structural upgrades. All right, guys, so we are inside of the current build with Louisville Homes, and one of the really cool features that I like that Amanda and Daniel came up with was actually adding this glass wall over here. I think it should be pretty straightforward to do as a renovation as well, right?
Very easy, yeah.
Yeah, and I think what it actually does is that, because I had another house that you guys did for me as well. Actually, my current house you guys did, and we did the same thing, which is basically we drywalled this whole thing. Yeah. I think on my first house we did the French doors going in, and this time, as much as you didn't want to do it, we did pocket doors. But with this, you guys went with the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And why did you guys do this?
We really wanted a lot of natural light in this house, and this is a really great way to achieve this. As far as cost goes, it's like slightly more expensive than the pocket doors, so it's not like, yeah.
Because those things were like, I forgot, like $1,000 or
more. Yeah, now more. I mean, when you did yours, it was sort of like a pre-COVID, but you've got to get structural lumber in place. You've got to get the pocket doors themselves, like everything all together. It's probably a couple $1,000s more to do something like this, and I just feel like the impact is so much greater because it's such a bigger, more open space.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is cool. And then like Daniel's not here with us right now, but like even from like someone doing this as a renovation, like what do you think? If somebody had a wall over here, like could they easily kind of take down that wall and do something like this?
Daniel's the take down the wall guy. Yeah. I am the once the wall is open girl.
Okay.
So if you have an open space, it's easy. All it is cutting into baseboard. It's that simple. As far as taking down walls, you've got to work around potential plumbing, electrical, that kind of stuff. So for sure you want to know what's behind the walls and open it up and be very careful. But once that's done and the space is open, it's one contractor that needs to come in, which is really nice and clean.
So it's doable.
Doable.
It just depends on how much money you have to throw at it.
Exactly. Okay. Everything is doable.
Awesome. I think that's a very cool feature that you could change and add. I mean, I guess when you're building, it's easier to incorporate. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about is that like color selection and like structural upgrades. So like, I mean, I've been through a bunch of new builds and we've done a couple as well. For me, I think ceiling height was really important. All right. I think with my current build, we even try to do, like I try to get you guys to price out like 12-foot main floor ceilings. And I think that was going to be super expensive. So I stuck with the 10 feet. Yeah. But like, I think that if you had an option, like I remember in 2010, I had an option from going from 8 feet to 9 feet, which was expensive at that time as well. But I think that's something I can't change afterwards. So I think that would be a really good.
Ceiling heights 8 feet to 9 feet. Generally, you'll see a lot of at least main floors at 9 feet now. Yeah. A lot of the times, just depending on where you're building, you'll see second floors at 9 feet. I love a 9-foot basement. Yeah. If it's possible, if you're in a subdivision, if it's possible, I think it's money well spent just from a living perspective. Every time you go in a basement, you'll see it.
So this is one of the structural changes that I would tell people, like if you can do it, I would do that, right? Yeah. Because like I can change a countertop, I could change flooring if I have to, but if I had a budget, I would do the structural stuff. What other things like do you think that we could do in terms of structural stuff that it would be really hard to do after the house is built?
I would say like get your major, like any kind of like major plumbing in place. Like if you want to add in plumbing, that's something you need permits for. So I would definitely say do that. Exterior facades, if you really like stone, for example, it's something that you should consider doing in the beginning. Anything that you could do relatively easy after you close your home, I always suggest to people just omit those things. Adding backsplashes, adding feature walls, that kind of thing, you can always leave till later because they're easy, they don't impact your quality of life. I would say hardwood flooring is a really big one, that if there's an upgrade on hardwood floors, I always suggest those.
Yeah. Talking about flooring, actually, like let's talk about colors, because we had a conversation before we started recording about you wanting to do pink tile in the house. Not the whole house, but like a washroom or something like that, which I'm totally against. I said no.
I mean, I appreciate your perspective. I think it's important to consider another end user, which is why we didn't put any pink tile in this house, unfortunately.
And you got voted out by
I got voted out. I got voted out. But it's important to, I guess, maintain some neutrality when you're picking your colors. To your point, you can add personality through decor. I guess you really don't want to add things that eventually down the line will hurt you as far as resale, but timeless colors like these floors, these light color floors are very timeless. White kitchens, I've been doing this for almost 20 years. I've never seen a white kitchen go out of style, but I've seen dark browns come in, I've seen grays come in, I've seen neutral browns come in. So white are a really, really timeless choice. And they've become really cost effective now.
Yeah, I'm always thinking about it that way as well. Is like, as much as I'm like going through these houses and I'm going to be living in them and whatnot, but like my thought is on resale. I'm thinking, hey, like how am I not going to spend a ton of money on putting this house back together in order to put it on the market to appeal to the widest audience at the same time. If you were going to take a chance on something, I would say maybe the paint, because that's simple enough to kind of change. Ripping out flooring and kitchens and stuff like that is not going to be a cost-effective way to do these things.
It's true.
Yeah.
You got to inject some personality though.
A little bit, like I said, painting and like decor. Other than that, like I'm okay with it looking a little boring, if you want to call it, but I think it looks nice the way that it is too. Yeah, it looks nice and clean. When you're in the process of building and renovating, what I see a lot of is like straight lines. What I noticed over here, what you guys have done is you guys have kind of like arched out these ways. What was the reason behind this?
I think that it just adds a little bit of softness to the space, and it makes it, it feels more calming to have softer lines in the space. I think it goes nicely with keeping everything nice and open. It adds a softness to the space at a relatively low cost.
Okay, so this wouldn't cost much more, like in terms of the taping and whatever? Like
it's just additional lumber and taping, but as far as adding features that add more architectural interest, it's on the lower side for sure.
And I know, again, Daniel's not here, but like someone had like just a straight up opening like typically you see, and they want to do something like this, like it's very easy for them to actually do that as well. So now we're upstairs in the primary bedroom in the ensuite, and we're here because they're actually adding a very cool feature, which is a steam shower. This is one of the features that I really had to have in my bathroom. I'm gonna backtrack and talk about my house for 1 second over here, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to add this thing. And I just thought it was simple as, hey, it was just building a new house anyways, just add a steam unit in and it's good to go, but that's not actually the case. So there was a bunch of like special electrical that had to go in. The walls I think had to be the aqua board was the same, but there was other stuff that we actually had to do.
So yeah, so you need a couple of things. You need to waterproof the entire enclosure. You need to add a damper to the steam shower so that you can fully enclose the space. You need to have all the plumbing and electrical in place to support the steam unit, and the steam unit is sized according to the size of your shower. So the bigger the shower, as in your case, the more expensive and the bigger the steam unit.
Yeah. Also, there was a cool feature that I wanted to get with mine, and I think you guys did it as well, is oils. So like I have like a eucalyptus oil, so I turn it on and I let it run for like 2-3 minutes. So when I open the door, I'm actually hit with this eucalyptus oil smell, and it's awesome. It's actually one of my favorite features about the house. So I think that if you guys are doing a light renovation, this will probably be a harder thing to kind of incorporate. To your point, if you were gonna be gutting the whole thing, it might be a little bit easier because you do need to run a dedicated, a little bit, I think, of a thicker electrical gauge like up here to actually run the steam unit. And also that you have to be able to like vent it out properly at the same time, because once you open this door, there is gonna be steam coming out of everywhere. If it's not enough just to have a steam shower over here, there are a lot of people out there right now that want to actually jump into cold water first thing in the morning or after a steam. Actually, you know what I do? Most of the time, I actually run my steam shower for I run it at 120 for 10 minutes. And then after that, I take an ice cold shower. And then I hit it again for like 5 minutes at 125 and another cold rinse. It feels nuts. But now to be able to go from here to the way that you guys have designed this to have a cold plunge on the balcony, like that's pretty wild.
So we've actually we've heated these floors too. So as you're coming back through from the cold plunge inside, you'll get hit with heated floors before you step into the steam shower. So it's a nice smooth transition. The way you set up the cold plunge on a second floor matters, because you've got to make sure you have the engineering in place to make sure you can support the weight of the cold plunge pool. You should have a dedicated water line and some electrical as well to accommodate whatever unit. Sometimes you'll need dedicated electrical as well.
Nice. So it doesn't mean that you can just go out, get a bunch of 2x4s and 4x4 posts and build some rickety thing and expect it to hold all that water. It's probably not going to work out for you. You're probably going to wake up for more than a cold plunge if you try to do it that way. All right, guys. So I'm not sure if I explained at the beginning of the video, but this is can I call it a subdivision that you guys have put together? Yeah, so it's like an infill subdivision, 31 houses. The cool part about this, for me anyways, is that I feel like I was part of this right from the very beginning. We met 10 years ago, just on Fairport Road over there. And I ended up actually buying a house in this infill subdivision. When I first started, I was like, give me the cheapest house that you have, because I don't think I can afford these houses. And over time, like I would say over like probably not that much time, maybe 6 weeks, I basically ended up buying like one of the largest houses. Yeah, one of the largest houses that they were building. It actually turned out really, really well. And I'm so surprised now because I bought that almost 10 years ago on paper. I closed at the end of 2016. Now we're basically in the middle of 2024. So like 8 years later, we're standing here and we're talking about the last build. I didn't think in 10 years, this is where we're gonna progress, even as our relationship and watching you guys as builders. Like, it's been so interesting coming back to see this last house in this infill getting done. And I'll just add at the same time, like during all of this time, like you guys have actually built me a pretty awesome custom house as well that I moved into like 8 months ago. So I guess now that you guys are doing this for your parents and you guys were able to add in all this extra stuff, because like I'm sure this gets kind of expensive. I've been in that situation where you're buying a custom or a semi-custom and things do add up, even with like just normal builds, like a normal, if you buy from one of the builders, like one of their subdivision kind of homes, like it still adds up very quickly when you go into the upgrades. You guys have a lot of cool stuff in over here, and I'm sure not everyone goes to this degree, but I guess because it is for your parents, you guys can add in these things and kind of use it as a show off, I think.
Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Everybody's budget is different, but that's the beauty, is like you can work with any budget to build a beautiful home.
Yeah. Perfect. I mean, like the extras, like that glass partition that you guys put in, the steam shower. You guys have a ton of pot lights, which I know that you may not necessarily like so much. Because when I told her I have like 230 pot lights in my house, wasn't very impressed with that. I was very impressed. My people would be very impressed with 230 pot lights. All right, guys, hopefully this video has been helpful for you guys if you guys are planning a renovation or actually working with a builder to choose selections and structural changes. If you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them myself or possibly put you guys in touch with Amanda and Daniel. I'm sure they will be happy to kind of field your questions for you guys as well. I encourage you guys to follow me, subscribe. I think I put out a lot of cool content and you don't want to miss out any of it. And I'm really encouraging my friends at Louisville Homes to get onto social media, so please follow them as well. And I know they will appreciate your followership. Until next time, guys, remember one thing: get Cabani, get sold.
Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold. Sell it, sell it, sell it, sell it, sold.